Hi, my friends. Do you love birds for spring? They're beautiful songs they sing. In today's video, it's all about the birds. We're going to do a crafting video on how to make birds, eggs, nests, and paper and everything. You don't want to miss it. Hi, I'm Bonnie Overman. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope my channel will inspire you to lead a more productive, creative, and stylish life at any age, always on a budget. You know I'm 73 and I just say it because if I can do it, I know you can do it too at any age. I have confidence in you. I want to thank all my wonderful subscribers, all my dear sweet friends that take the time to watch my videos. Oh, you guys really touch my heart. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. We're doing a different theme every month, and then I do crafting and decor and tablescapes all around that theme. And if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. It does help my channel. Okay, birds. You know, if you sit and listen to birds, it's amazing all the different singing they do or sounds they make, however you want to say it. I was laying in bed one day listening to it, and I thought, okay, they repeat it a couple times, and then they start on something totally new, and then something totally new. It's like they're singing all these songs. It's just amazing. And I love birds, and you know, that's one of my themes this month: flowers, birds, and butterflies. And we're going to have craft videos on those things too. But today I'm going to show you how to make a bird out of an Easter egg, a plastic Easter egg. I'm going to show you how to make paper birds, how to make nests, how to make stands to put the little nest in with the eggs. Anyway, it's so many things that will last you all the way through summer. And I can't wait to show you how to make these. They're so easy. So without further ado, let's go see how we can make everything about birdies. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye. Welcome to my craft video, and it's all about our little birdies. I don't know if you can hear it. Of course, they stop when I start talking. The birds are singing outside. I thought that's perfect to go along with my video, but now they stopped. Anyway, today is all about birds, birds' nests, eggs, all of it in paper, three-dimensional, all different kinds. You know, I love to get for display these, I don't know what these are called, but anything branchy and spiky, I just love for birds. And of course, birds' nests. I'm going to show you also how to make some of these. Now, these are little store-bought birds that I have, and these are painted Easter eggs. If you want to do a display and you don't have white eggs, you could even speckle these if you wanted to. But look at all the cute things we're going to make, you know, some decor for clipboards, some collages, and I'm going to tell you how I made these little bird stands. Aren't those adorable that hold a nest? We've got bird houses, bird cages, all kinds of goodies. So I want to start with this bird, the little nest stand. So I want to show you, so the first thing I want to show you is how I made the little stand there. And you can see I have an empty one here just to show you. I took 3 branches from my yard, clipped them off one of my bushes out there, and I just arranged them in my hand so they would sit steady on a surface, yet branch out. Something like this fits perfectly, as you can see here, inside the stand. So what I do is, and you can still see I have some hot glue showing. It takes a lot of hot glue, you guys. So what I first do is I take some twine from Dollar Tree and I start winding it around all different directions to kind of secure it. And as I'm doing that, I'm putting hot glue. So I'm making this big ball of twine and hot glue here, which holds these stands. I've had these a couple years now, and they haven't broken or come apart or anything like that. So they're very strong and they're very sturdy and will hold your nest with eggs in it, because there's nothing more frustrating than to try to do a little nest and your eggs roll out, the flowers, the birds roll out, but this way you could have them in a little stand and you could make it shorter to the ground. In fact, I think it'd be really cute to make this tallish one and then some that were shorter, and you could do it in a series of 3 stands. Anyway, I just think they're absolutely adorable. Now you might say, okay, you bought the nest, but I want to show you ones I've made. Now, you can see here, this is made out of, let me take my little birdie out here. I'm going to show you in a minute how to make him. But this is made with Excelsior. Now you can, I don't know if you can see it or not, I do have a piece of cardboard underneath all of that on the bottom. So I just take Excelsior and wind it round and around and start gluing it on and building it up. And then on the bottom, you can see I use some Spanish moss. Now these are painted eggs. You can get, you know, I don't know, do you have crazy colored eggs? You know, those ugly ones that are so bright? Well, I think on these what I did is I actually did some texturing. So you can actually mix some paint and some baking soda together and you can make the eggs that look more textured. I love the bird feather and the little fern frond in there. In fact, I've got 2 of them in there, or 3, which make it look so adorable. And I think these look better than this because this looks like I bought it. This looks like it came out of the yard. You can also make these little tiny ones too to put on cards or collages. And then you can see I put just a little egg in there. But you can see I've done it on art. So I've taken this kind of music paper and then this paper with a lady on it. And it had a bird at the bottom. So I made a little nest with a little egg in it. And I think it's so, so adorable. But you can make these little nests and put them on some of your crafts. I think it's so cute. Now I want to show you my adorable little bird. I showed you this on my vision board. Now, what I started with Easter egg. You can see here, it's just a green plastic Easter egg. And what I did, I just wadded up some foil and made a little head out of him, okay? And then I started taping everything together. You can see I have some masking tape. But what I like to use towards the very end is any type of like paper towel or tissue paper that's very thin. Just pull it apart and you start layering it and start, you know, working with it with Mod Podge, or you can do liquid starch or lots of things, but you want to, I find Mod Podge to work very well on this too. Wear gloves, by the way, it's really messy. But you can see, and I kind of pinched him so he had a little beak, and I just kind of went over and over and over until I got the right look. And you can see he's here on the other side. You can see I have a lot of texture on his head. That's a lot of tissue paper on there. But when I got done, I had like a elongated egg. So how did I make this? His feathers, his side feathers, and his back feathers. Okay, so I just cut out a cardboard, a piece. This is out of Kleenex box. I always show you. And I just made it look like this. So that something that would be on his back, and hot glued it on. And then I painted it, put texture on it. And then this is his little wing on the side. So you can see here, his little wing on the side. And then this one piece on the back. Now I wanted the bird to kind of have a little bit of blue to him. So I kind of made him you can see most of my birds are blue, but I kind of made him like a little robin. But anyway, you just paint them and paint them and paint them in browns and tans and creams. And I put a little black beak, a little eye on him. And she is so adorable there in her little nest with her eggs. All right, you might say that's way too much work. I'm not into that. You can buy the most beautiful birds. Now, a lot of these collages I made here, I've used nests and birds by Anna Griffin. I mean, they're just stunning and beautiful. And especially if you want to make something like to put on a clipboard or something, you know, it's something you're going to use every year. So to me, it's worth the investment of money. But you might say, I don't want to do that. I want to maybe make my own birds. Well, you can. Now, these bird cages, I do have a die cut for these bird cages. But these birds, you can see I have 2 of them here. These birds, I made my own patterns. Now, what I did is I cut out bird A, and made wings to go with it. But I think it's so good to do the wings separate. It looks more 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional. And then this one for D, I put D on there, and then this is the bird's wings that go with this one, and I have B and I have C here. So I've just kind of looked on Pinterest and looked at different shapes and kind of just worked at it till I cut out my patterns. Once you do that initial work, you'll have these forever and can make the most adorable and beautiful little cards and collages. Maybe you're lucky enough to have this set from Dollar Tree. Look at the cute little birds, parakeets, hummingbirds, I mean, these are worth $1.25 so much. Anyway, if you have these, you can make these birds. Look how precious those are. And you know, I always show you my little Misty here. This is where you open up the plastic, you put a stamp here, and you put your paper you're gonna, stamp on here. And you can stamp over and over because you're holding the paper with the magnet. And you're holding the little stamp on the plastic. So you can stamp over and over and over. It's called the Misty, M-I-S-T-I. I got it on eBay. This is the small one. It's worked fine. You can see how I've cleaned this too. It's just, I mean, I use this every time I stamp anything. But look how crisp and clean the birds come out. And then, of course, you can make a little collage with the birds in the bird cage. Isn't that adorable? This would be on a little stand. You could put it on a bag for a gift, the front of a card, any way your heart desires. But that's how you can use some of these little birds. Now, we've talked about stands, birds' nests, birds, eggs. Now, what about bird houses? Look at how adorable these bird houses are. Look how cute. If you have a spring little tree you decorate, how cute to put these as little ornaments on there. And I want to show you how I made these. I started with these patterns I made. You can see here, I just glued together. I have a little house. I have the little roof. Here's one that's very simple. In fact, it's this one right here. And I just put lace across the eaves of the house and the bottom. I made a punch for the center here. Just put on some extra flowers and one of Anna Griffin's birds. I mean, I think that really does the trick. So adorable for the little birds. I just love it all so much. So anyway, I hope you love this. I hope you got so inspired and will make a nest or some eggs or a bird or a stand. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye.